The following is a non-profit fan-made story. The characters and properties in this novel are owned by their respective creators and companies. Please support the official releases. Also, this YouTube novel is rated M, mature audiences 17 and up. Adult language and explicit violence are present. Viewer discretion is advised. Also, there are a lot of product placements and brands in this novel such as Samsung, Apple, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, etc. None of them are sponsored in this novel. No, seriously, none of them are. Anyway, enjoy.
The sun rises on a beautiful Monday morning. Its rays shine through a glass window of a house into a bedroom. In the bed is a young woman who is already awake. She carefully takes in deep breaths. Her hot red eyes turns to her left arm. The horseshoe-shaped bite mark is visible even in her old age, like a scar that will always remain. The young lady sits up in her bed. Her long white hair with red highlights at the end lays on her back. She rubs her head slightly. She looks around her bedroom. It is a typical look for a female's bedroom. A queen-size bed, a drawer with a mirror, a fancy wallpaper with the Saints logo, a Samsung UNC 7000 series 40-inch TV on a counter in front of the bed, and a fancy rug under the bed. Still nothing, but I gotta keep searching. But for how long, though? 3 knocks on the door catches her attention. "Hey, Allie, are you awake?" A voice that she did not want to hear this early in the morning. Yeah. Well, hurry up and get ready." Footsteps gradually goes away from the door before it goes silent. Eleanor Miranda Harrington, now age 20, removes the blanket and gets out of bed. She fixes her tank top as she grabs a towel and heads into her bathroom, which is next to the TV on its right. The bedroom door opens. Eleanor is freshly clean and fully clothed with a black t-shirt with a fire at the bottom and lightning bolts at the top, and a pair of female aviators in her hair, female skinny jeans, and gray leather sneakers. She closes the door behind her and heads towards the stairs. As she takes each step downwards, she looks at some photos on the wall to her right. One has her as an infant. The other has a photo of her sister, and her parents with the USS Texas battle carrier in the background. Not once in the images did Eleanor ever smile for the camera, but her sister was. But it does make her chuckle a little. Oh man, I was such a brat. She reaches downstairs and turns to the left. There is a hallway, but she opted to go into the other direction, into the living room. The living room she's walking in has a U-shaped couch, a 55-inch Samsung UNC 5000 flat screen laying on a gray brick wall above the fireplace with a Nintendo Wii game console and a copy of Super Smash Bros. Brawl underneath, a coffee table, a recliner, and a shelf of old VHS movies. Walking past the living room is the dining room. A 15-foot-long rectangular-shaped table with 4 chairs, a flower pot of roses in the middle, and a gray rug underneath the table. On the table itself are 2 family-sized boxes of cereal, Fruity Pebbles and Honey Nut Cheerios, and 2 bowls. Eleanor looks to her left and sees another young woman walking up to the table with a gallon of whole milk. Short, awkward blue hair that reaches her shoulders. Her clothing is more casual than Eleanor's. A white t-shirt that turns blue going down, jeans, and white and black women's high-top sneakers. Chloe Winters Harrington, half a year younger than her sister, looks at said older sister. Eleanor looks away from her, pulls a chair away from the table, and sits in it. "You seem to be in a decent mood." Eleanor pours a bowl of cereal and responds to her. "You seem to be more than that, as usual." "Well, that's because of last night." "All right. How was your date with JoJo?" "Better than I expected. Except for the times you blew my ears out." "Why? What happened?" "A couple of Class D mutants were pissing him off, so JoJo made sure that they wouldn't walk again." "Don't tell me he blew their legs off." "What? God, no. He shot in their thighs. One unlucky guy got shot in the ass. And he's paralyzed from the waist down." "Well, can't say I'm surprised at that. It's what they get for pissing out Class S mutants." "So, how was your night?" Eleanor stops before another spoonful goes into her mouth. Her eyes shift twice, then looks at Chloe. "Oh, it was good." Chloe raises her left eyebrow. "You hesitate, meaning something did happen, didn't it?" "No, it's nothing. Nothing happened." "Ellie, you've been out searching again, haven't you?" "What, I can't step out of my own fucking house?" "Sis, you have to stop looking for him. I told you several times for years that he's dead." "And I told you that he isn't. I can't accept the fact that Kejiro Honda is dead. You heard him too, you know." "Yes, and after the extensive search that you made us go through, I came to the realization that he's dead. You haven't. It's not healthy to keep a grudge." "You know why I'm still searching for him." Yeah, I get it. You got screwed over. You couldn't live with it. Boo fucking who? It's not like that. Then what is it? It's just... I can't forget all of the things that I've heard he did. And I have a feeling that it has something to do with Gamera. And I hate getting into conspiracy theories. You're saying that Kenjiro's disappearance coincided with Gamera's? And that's the most well-known theory. The connection between Dragonborn and Gamera. I get that. You should, because you're in the Anti-Megalosaurus Force. I barely know anything past that. Even Dad doesn't tell me much. And sure, Honda wasn't perfect, but I bet he had reasons. And he wasn't trying to give us mutants a bad name. What are you trying to say, that I'm worse than him? Yes. Chloe said it without hesitation, with a straight face. Eleanor tilts her head, looking at her sister with malicious intent. Her hair glows white, and her hands becomes engulfed in flames and bolts. Would you mind repeating what you just said? Chloe's hair moves up and down wave-like, and her arms become stone-cold ice. I would, but I know where this is going to go. Plus, I don't want to piss off Mom and Dad after what happened 5 years ago. For context, in January of 2005, the two mutants had an argument over who was stronger than the other. The argument got so heated that they brawled in the Mission Delores Park. The damage and aftermath to the park was so bad that the then mayor of San Fran, Gavin Newsom, and then governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, yes really, had to make a law that prohibits any mutants from dueling or brawling in populated urban areas unless it's in an open field, an arena, or in the desert. Not to mention, their parents, Eleanor and Margaret Harrington, who are currently in the USAMF in the Pacific and Atlantic respectively, had to pay for the damage, and the sisters had to fix the park from top to bottom. The light in Eleanor's hair dims out, the flames and bolts disappears, and her face relaxes. Oh God, don't remind me. I can't believe I had to clean up toilets for a month. You think that's bad? Try scrubbing barnacles off the USS Texas with no breaks. Took me about 8 hours. Lucky bitch. Actually, I've been meaning to ask you, why aren't you on the Texas? I've been given a special assignment that I'm currently doing. Dad says it's classified so that no one would know about it. I bet it has something to do with those UFO sightings. Nah, I think it has something to do with the recent rumors going around. What? Oh, you mean the rumors that Godzilla's back? Give me a fucking break. Godzilla hasn't been seen in 10 years. If there was a chance that he did, the Japanese AMF would have known about it. Eleanor picks up the bowl and drinks the remaining milk in it. You're right. They didn't, and still don't. But we do. Eleanor puts the bowl down on the table and looks at Chloe. You know what? You ridicule me for looking for a supposed dead man, yet you and the USAMF think Godzilla's back. I'll bet my own money that he isn't. Okay, I'll take that bet. $50, $100, deal. Now, let's get ready for our daily whatever. The two mutant sisters walks out of the front door of their house. As Eleanor walks down the steps with a backpack on her back, Chloe locks the door. She turns around and sees their neighbor across the street waving her hand at them. Chloe waves back with a smile, but Eleanor didn't glance over. Even after all of these years, you still haven't changed. Reaching the end of the stairs, Eleanor looks back at her. Yeah, well, blame him. I'm not giving up on this search. Are you listening to yourself right now? Whatever. I'll find him, and I'll prove you wrong. I'll see you later. Eleanor rubs her shoes on the concrete, generating bolts. She takes a step back and leaps forward into the air. Chloe can only watch as her sister hops from building to building. The United States of America, population over 308 million. It is one of the major nuclear superpowers along with Russia, China, the UK, India, and France. With 50 states, it has the two largest, Texas and California, the latter of which has one of the most famous cities. San Francisco, population of over 805,000. It is a city and county which is known for being the commercial, financial, and cultural center in Northern California. With its hilly landscape, Golden Gate Bridge, Trans-American Pyramid, it is the most recognizable city in the U.S. And it is home of the U.S.'s strongest mutants. Jumping across building to building, Eleanor Harrington makes her way to her college. Some humans look up to see the young woman jump over their heads. It is a regular sight as they are used to it at this point. The University of San Francisco, created on October 15, 1855, is a private college with part of it on Lone Mountain and the campus having the nickname of the Hilltop. Eleanor jumps off the McLaren Conference Center onto the correct garden courtyard. Every student, the moment that they see her, knows that it's not the feeling of rage, but sudden fear. Students and teachers halt. All eyes are on the woman. Eleanor holds a backpack over her shoulder and looks at her surroundings. The moment her eyes lays in a certain direction, the people look away to avoid eye contact. She scoffs and looks at the building in front of her. Harrington walks away from the crowd of students. When she walks, they step out of the way. She stops at the front door of the school. She opens and enters the building. The people finally have permission to move along. Inside, Eleanor walks down the hallway. Students inside of the campus notices her arrival. They too move out of the way from her when she walks by. She stops, grabs a door, and enters a classroom. Inside of the classroom, which is a history class, all of the students are too focused on taking notes on either a notebook or in a laptop from the teacher of the class, until one looks up and sees Harrington. "Hey Teach, Hellraiser's here." Hellraiser. That is the nickname that she has known as for 8 years. The moment that her nickname was said, everyone in the room suddenly had a sense of concern and fear. "All right, settle down. She's not here to kill us. I'm going to make sure of that. And as for you, young lady..." The teacher, Mr. Mark Danielson, turns to her. Wearing a three-piece suit and reading glasses, he looks at her straight in the eyes, even though hers is not. "You're late, as usual. But please, take your seat." Eleanor never made eye contact. She walks past the seated students in an empty school desk. She places her backpack on the floor and sits down, a good 6 feet apart from her classmates. "Now, Miss Harrington, we were talking about the history of the world and the Mutant, something that you might be interested in. Turn to page 140. No response from Hellraiser. She takes out the textbook to the page she was told, takes out a notebook and pen, and gestures to Danielson to continue his lesson. A young man with bob-cut hair, blue t-shirt, dark blue jeans, black boots, and a pair of white leather gloves appears out of nowhere in the middle of the plaza of Union Square. Fucking shenanigans! He was running for his life. Who was he running from? 6 members of a biker gang called the Earthquakers. A gang full of upper Class B mutants who uses the environment around them. The young man who is running away from them decides enough is enough. In the middle of the plaza, he faces the direction that he ran from. The 6 members of the Earthquakers comes around the corner with their abilities in their hands. The variety in this biker gang is apparent with them using either concrete, dirt, grass, and in general, anything around them. Its leader, Brody Clark, steps to his brothers and sisters holding a biker chain made of concrete. "Where you going, Tony? We're just getting started." "Nowhere. I just wanted to get to a different location." "Also, come on, guys. You're going to be removed from the county." "Hey, you're the one who took on half of our crew." "Yeah, because what the hell was I supposed to do? Let you torture an innocent Class F? Hell no. And if the cops aren't going to do anything, then I will." Clark spins the concrete chain like a lasso. "Well, look where it got you." Clark slams the chain down on the ground, creating a trail of debris towards Tony. The young man runs to the side and runs up to the leader. Clark swings the chain left, but Tony dodges it with his speed. He grabs the chain, pulling it to launch himself. Clark gets out of the way, but couldn't in time as Tony punches him in the face, sending him flying on his back 100 feet away. Now, Tony is standing in the middle of the gang. "So, are we going to do this or what?" They all charge and jump him. Tony jumps in the air, avoiding collision. One member, Larry, looks up to see a dropkick delivered to his face. Landing on his feet, Tony dodges a crowbar made of dirt and punches Eric. Sandy, Mandy, and Irvin rushes at him swinging bats and machetes made of tree bark. But each time they swing, Tony dodges left, right, up, down to avoid getting hit. He sucker punches Sandy, super kicks Mandy, and gives Irvin a German suplex and punches him in his balls. Jacob, who is built like a bodybuilder, grabs a street sign and swings it at Tony. But Tony grabs it after dodging twice, takes it from his hands, and swings it at Jacob's legs. Then he javelin throws the sign at the incoming Danny, who has a pool club made of leaves. Clark gets back to his feet, creates a gun out of concrete, aims, and fires at the mutant. Tony, for a split second, runs away, dodging the bullet and away from the gang. But the bullet did hit something. Oh shit. The other members of the Earthquakers gets up and looks at what their leader shot at. They have the same reaction. Realization, shock, and fear. Standing 100 feet from the gang is Eleanor Harrington. In her hand is a cup of coffee from Starbucks. Well, was a cup. When Clark fired at Tony, the bullet missed, but it hit Eleanor's cup as she was taking a sip, causing her coffee to spill onto the ground and some onto her shirt and pants. Eleanor's eye twitches. She crushes the cup and snaps her head towards Clark. The Earthquaker's abilities disappears from their hands out of fear. "Wait, Hellraiser, we were just here for Anderson, that's all. Right, guys? Guys?" He looks behind him to see none of his gang members. The truth is, they are running away from her. A flaming rope appears in the grip of Hellraiser. She whips it and wraps Clark around with it. Well, next time, watch your aim! Flamatizu. Clark becomes engulfed by the fire rope, causing the man to scream in agony. She throws him in the air, hitting the biker gang who are still running away from her. Eleanor looks off into the other direction, wondering where the other one went. On the island in between the Oakland Bay Bridge, exhausted and out of breath, Tony takes a minute to collect himself. Holy shit. I think I lost him. Phew. Alright, time to head home. I can still make dinner possible, if those idiots don't do anything stupid. He stands up straight and stretches his body. He turns around and begins to walk into the direction of the Oakland Bay Bridge leading back into the city when he stops. Standing in front of him is Hellraiser, who was following him to the island. The winds blow as the two lock eyes with one another. Can I help you? What the hell was that all about? Quite the mess you got yourself into. Wait, don't tell me you brought those assholes here. No, they've been dealt with. They're pretty weak when it comes to a head-to-head with a Class S. Tony raises his eyebrow. A Class S mutant? He thinks to himself. Well, thanks for that. I was just heading home. No, you're not. Did you not notice that I was there when Clark shot at you? No, I didn't actually. He stops mid-sentence when he notices the coffee stain on her clothes. Oh, sorry about that. Had I known that you were there, I would have gotten you out of the way. An electric bolt appears in Hellraiser's right hand. Very heroic of you. Unfortunately, it's going to cost you. She throws an electric spear at Tony. As fast as the bolt travels, it's the same speed. Tony quickly moves out of the way, dodging the bolt. His sudden speed catches her attention. You must be Turbo Tony. Class S rank 1. Didn't think I would come face to face with you. Well, I'd never seen you before, so likewise. Also, are you seriously wasting your mana on a lower class? A Class C, of all things? It wouldn't be the first time. And if the government won't do anything about the violence, then someone has to. And you think I was the cause of that mess? I had nothing to do with it. How many times have I heard that in my life? Like a javelin, she throws more electric spears at Tony. But each time she does, he dodges every single one of them. One of the bolts, however, hits his left hand. The bolt ricochets off of his hand in the air above. The impact destroys the glove. Eleanor stops and raises an eyebrow. Okay, if you say that you're a Class C, then explain to me how you managed to deflect my electric spear. Tony does not answer immediately. He looks at his left hand, then looks at her. The truth is, I don't know. I'm just discovering this for the first time. If you ask me, I think it's just a case of shenanigans. Either way, you're wasting your time with me. I should just leave it before it gets worse for you. You think I'm going to back down from a lower rank like you? She throws another electric spear at Tony, but he dodges it and rushes at her. She throws another. Again, she misses. He's moving so fast that it is impossible to hit him. Eleanor claps her hands, creating a literal shockwave. Tony gets hit, but he punches through thanks to his right hand, destroying the other glove in the process. He rushes at her and punches Eleanor in the face, setting the woman flying through the air and tumbling on the ground. Eleanor stops herself and looks back at Tony. The rage on her face says it all. But when she looks back at Tony, he's gone. She looks around, no sign of him. She jumps up and hovers 500 meters in the air. She takes flight towards the city. She frantically searches for him. No sign of him. He just vanished. Hellraiser lands on top of the Transamerica Pyramid. The heavy winds blow her white hair back as she stares beyond the city into the Pacific. She wipes her face with her left hand and looks at it. That punch. I haven't felt that kind of punch since Kenjiro. I wonder.